Oh, yeah. Is it Saturday already? Have we made it through yet another week of Star Wars news? What the hell's going on with this Rey movie? Is it actually happening? Did we just lose another writer with Stephen Knight again? Oh, we got a lot to get into tonight as the Mandalorian and Grogu movie has finished filming. So what's the timetable on that movie as well? And we got some Dawn of the Jedi news and some Skeleton Crew news because Skeleton Crew comes out in 38 days. So without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Saturday? It's Saturday. Saturday evening. It's not an afternoon anymore, chat. It is the evening. What's up, chat? Okay. So there's a lot of news going around over the last 24 hours about this Rey movie. There was a bunch of reports that were released around the same time that Stephen Knight has left the project. The Rey movie has lost yet another writer. However, a few hours after those reports were released, Daisy Ridley had an interview on the Happy Sad Confused podcast where she gave a very good update for the Rey movie. So we got some contradicting reports here, one coming from the actress herself, other ones coming from sources unnamed. We're going to dive into all of it, who to believe, who not to believe, what's going on with this Rey movie. Also, we got some other Star Wars movie news with Dawn of the Jedi and the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And it's not just that, chat. Skeleton Crew is right around the corner, and it's getting hyped up because we got some new images on Thursday. And we started to talk about them during the stream, but now we have an insane amount to get to with possible Night Sister connection, possible Sith connection, possible Zepho connection to this Skeleton Crew show because we know so little about it. Anything is possible, and that's what excites me. So without further ado, let's say hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? Okay. Oh, this is called starting a stream off right. This is how you start a stream off right. Jordan Rennie with a very generous $2 holla. I appreciate that, Jordan. I really, really do. Says, do you think that the DOTJ movie comes out before the Rey movie? Dawn of the Jedi. Okay, I'm not used to that abbreviation. Dawn of the Jedi movie comes out before the Rey movie. That's actually a great question. Seeing that the Rey movie might have just lost yet another writer in Stephen Knight, we'll get to it, but there's a possibility, a small, but a possibility, that the Dawn of the Jedi movie, created by James Mangold and Mr. Willimon, could come out before the Rey movie. So instead of the Rey movie being in December of 2026, it would be in 2027. In the Dawn of the Jedi, vice versa. It would be in December of 2026. So possibly, Jordan, possibly. And I appreciate the super chat. I really, really do. Super chats, memberships keep the lights on over here. So I appreciate it. And this is the last week of the month. So if you are a member, you have instant access to this month's giveaway. And if you are not yet a member, you can join right now or any point until the end of the month and steal that awesome, cool giveaway from any one of our awesome, cool members. Okay. With that being said, I always forget to mention that on these live streams. Super chats are fantastic. Memberships are fantastic. But I understand if you don't got the loot. That's okay. Let's talk about this, shall we? Let's first put up a poll in the chat. Oh, wait, we didn't say hi to everybody yet. Let's do that first. Dominic, what's up? Starship 66 in the house. Jessica, how we doing? Brandon, what is up? John, how we doing? Aaron in the house. JC, what is up? Mando United, how we doing? Lee, what's up? Rachel, how we doing? Jordan, what is up? UV Clips in the house. Dustin Kennedy, how we doing? Darth Thor, what is up? Ben, how we doing? Star Wars Order, how we doing? King Shadow, how we doing? If I missed you, you guys know the deal. Fearless, what's up? If I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat, okay? But first, let's give everybody a nice little,
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay. Oh my God, Jordan. Jeez. Jordan with another generous $2 holla says, get joining the community, y'all. I appreciate that, Jordan. I really do. But make your super chat worth it. You guys can make me do any Star Wars impression of your choosing with any amount of super chat as well. So use that to your advantage because I look really stupid when I do them. Okay. Now, let's dive into this. But first, let's put up a poll. This poll is going to be, why does it say weather alert? Okay. There's a weather alert apparently, but let's do this. Do you think the Rey movie will be delayed. So without going into any of this yet, because we're going to read all these articles, we're going to watch Daisy Ridley, what she said on the podcast. We're going to go into all of it. But before we get to any of it, do you think this Rey movie will be delayed? Tell me in the chat. All right, and let's get to our first article today because we got a bunch to get to. And this one sort of just gives us the what happened before the Daisy Ridley podcast came out. So let's read this. This is coming from Variety. And it says, Star Wars movie with Daisy Ridley loses screenwriter Stephen Knight. So a little bit of background on Stephen Knight. He's the guy who wrote and directed a lot of, or he wrote the whole thing, but he directed a lot of the show Peaky Blinders. Give me a 1 into the chat if you know what Peaky Blinders is. Chat. Peaky Blinders might be my third or fourth favorite show of all time. Is that good? Stephen Knight, when he was signed on to the Rey movie, was huge news because he did Peaky Blinders. And to me, Peaky Blinders is one of the best shows of all time. So to have that caliber of a writer attached to the Rey movie was great news. However, the Peaky Blinders show ended, but they're now making a Peaky Blinders movie. So Stephen Knight is now focusing all his time and attention on the Peaky Blinders movie, and not enough time to focus on the Rey movie. That's sort of what we think's going on here. But let's read this, shall we? Okay. There's another disturbance in the Force. Yikes. Screenwriter Stephen Knight has departed the Star Wars movie set to follow Daisy Ridley's Rey after the events of 2019's Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. In March of 2023, Variety's exclusively reported that Stephen Knight had signed on to the project, replacing original screenwriter Damon Lindelof and Justin Brett Gibson. So Damon Lindelof was another big name. He did the series Lost. He also did The Watchmen. He did some other stuff, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. However, he was a big name too. People were excited about Damon. When he left, it was the same sort of feeling we're having right now about Stephen Knight leaving. But let's keep reading. Lucasfilm is actively talking with potential writers to take on the story, which has been said to chronically raise efforts to start a new Jedi Academy. But the delay likely means production won't start until well into 2025 at least. We're going to talk about this in a second, when production will start, when filming will begin for this movie, and how far along it truly is. But let's just finish this article first. Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is still attached to direct, although some people are saying she isn't. I believe she still is attached to direct, but we can debate that another time. She still is attached to direct this film, which would be her feature debut, which is pretty crazy. She previously directed episodes of the Disney Plus series Miss Marvel, after twice winning an Oscar for Best Documentary of a Short Film. While discussing her latest documentary with designer Diane von Wernstenberg, great name, which premiered on Hulu in June, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy told Variety that the Star Wars story that interests me with Rey's journey as a female Jedi, and that's how I can best bring my experience to it. So it seems like a lot of fans aren't very happy or satisfied with the Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy choice of director. When you have a Star Wars movie, you want the best director possible, and Sharmeen has no experience with a feature film. So having it be her first experience doing Star Wars is not the best bet. But I think there's some better options even in-house with Star Wars. You got incredible directors like Deborah Chow or Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau or Bryce Dallas Howard or any of them. All your Mando people that you already have so much talent with. But Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy nonetheless. Today we're talking Stephen Knight. Okay? Okay. Stephen Knight, meanwhile, has been a prolific creative force in the TV and film industry, writing a screenplay for the upcoming Maria Callas biopic, Maria, with Angelina Jolie, and a feature film adapted with the popular BBC series Peaky Blinders with Cillian Murphy. Is it Killian or Cillian, chat? Is it Killian or Cillian? John in the chat says George Lucas should come out of retirement to write and direct the Rey movie, just to make heads explode. If George Lucas came out of retirement to do the Rey movie, I think people wouldn't know what to believe. They wouldn't know what to do with they wouldn't know what to do. They absolutely wouldn't. It would contradict everything they thought they knew about what's going on over there at Disney, especially because George Lucas sequel trilogy seemed to be on opposite ends of the Star Wars fandom here. Yeah, that would be crazy. That'd be crazy. Okay. As well as creating series for FX called The Veil, Disney Plus called 1,000 Blows. Pause. And the BBC's This Town. What is 1,000 Blows? Anybody? Chat? Does anybody know what this is? It's Killian with the K? Okay. Are you sure? It's not Cillian Murphy? I think you guys are crazy. They would cancel him? They probably would. Okay. The next Star Wars movie, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, from director Jon Favreau, is scheduled to premiere on May 22nd of 2026. It is May 22nd. Disney has slated 2 more Star Wars films, one for December of 2026 and one for December of 2027. But they have not yet confirmed their titles for those set dates. Right now, on the release schedule, it just says an untitled Star Wars movie is going to release on December 2026 and December 2027. They have not officially given either movie a select date. Yeah. At the 2023 Star Wars Celebration event in London, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy announced that along with Sharmina Bed-Chinoy's film, the company is developing movies with director James Mangold, who did Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and Dave Filoni, Lucasfilm's chief creative officer and executive director for the Disney Plus shows Ahsoka and The Mandalorian. So Puck News was the first people to get on this Stephen Knight departure. So, yeah, that's the end of the article. So there's no, I mean, this is as there's no real source here, Jet. They haven't gone into any specifics of confirmed by Lucasfilm, confirmed by Disney. None of that is said in this article. However, we're very much led to believe that Stephen Knight is no longer with the project. And I actually believe that he's probably not with the project either. Now, the question becomes, does that slow down production? Does that delay this movie? Does that change anything about the upcoming Rey movie? Even losing Stephen Knight, whether or not he created a script or is currently working on a script, he's going to stop. And is that just going to get thrown away? Is that just going to get built upon by the next writer? There's a lot that goes into this, but let's hear from Daisy Ridley herself, because she kind of unknowingly combats these arguments that anything is wrong with the Rey movie at all. It seems as though, from Daisy Ridley, what we're about to hear her say specifically, that this movie seems to be on track, seems to be in a good spot. And she says one specific thing that is very, 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 very important as to whether or not this Rey movie will be delayed or not. So let's see what Daisy Ridley herself has to say, shall we?
This is where the fun begins.
Okay. So right here, this is on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. Yeah, let's do this right about, boom, right here. Okay, so this is Daisy Ridley. She's on with Josh, our boy Josh over here. So this is what Daisy Ridley has to say when it comes to the Rey movie.
No Star Wars updates. We're still just waiting for news, but you're ready, you're waiting. When the script comes, essentially.
We're waiting for imminent news, I would say.
Okay, this is good. There's a date you have in your mind of when you're going to see something, maybe?
I might have already seen something.
Oh.
Let's pause right there for a second, okay? Let's just pause right there for a second. She might have already seen something. Now, Josh implies that the script isn't done yet. And she's like, no, I might have already seen something, buddy. I might have already seen something, okay? That's not all. Let's keep going. Let's put Daisy in the center of the screen. That's better.
Okay.
There might be a date of when we're, the next stages.
Okay, we like that. Progress, we like that. Slow but...
So, obviously, she can't say much. NDAs, doesn't want to spoil, blah, 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 blah. But what she says here is pretty important. Clearly, she knows that there's a date for some sort of announcement coming very, very soon. The next steps in the process, when production begins, when filming begins, all that stuff. Let's rewind, and I'll just play the clip through, and then we'll talk about it, because there's something to this.
I have to, no Star Wars updates. We're still just waiting for news, but you're ready, you're waiting. When the script comes, essentially.
We're waiting for imminent news, I would say.
Okay, this is good. There's a date you have in your mind of when you're going to see something, maybe?
I might have already seen something.
Oh, okay.
There might be a date of when we're, the next stages.
Okay, we like that. Progress, we like that. Slow but steady. As long as you guys get it right, take your time. I'm patient.
Exactly. We're all good. We're just out here to see a great movie.
I can't imagine what it's like for you, because when I tweet or say something about Star Wars, I get scared. When
They go into, obviously, hate from the fandom, and Daisy Ridley does an incredible job of dealing with that and talking about it. She's actually really, really good at that kind of stuff, these interviews and all that stuff. But we won't bother. If you want to go watch the rest of that interview, you can. Now, what we're going to focus on is how she talks about something imminent coming, some big announcement coming very soon. There's some date in her head that she knows something's coming. Now, of course, this was most likely recorded before the news that Stephen Knight left the project, clearly. But that doesn't change the timetable in the slightest. Now, I just did see a super chat come through, and it's very, very on point here. As Darth Plagueis lives, I appreciate it quite a bit. $5 holla, god damn. Says, can't they just Tony Gilroy this Rey movie? Also, what's up, chat? And Mike, what's up, Plagueis? Can't they just Tony Gilroy this Rey movie? Now, Tony Gilroy, using Tony Gilroy as an expression here, what it's implying is Rogue One. The situation with Rogue One, where Rogue One was pretty much in filming or in production limbo, we'll put it. And Tony Gilroy comes in sort of the last hour and saves everything and fixes it all up and makes it the Rogue One movie that we know and love. One of the greatest Star Wars movies ever. Some people think it's the best Star Wars movie ever. Rogue One, that is. It's probably top 3 for me, but it's not number 1. But it is an incredible movie. And you wouldn't believe that if you saw what happened behind the scenes. If you were watching the production of this movie, Rogue One that is, you probably wouldn't believe that it's one of the best Star Wars movies of all time. But the same can be said about the entire original trilogy, especially A New Hope. The production errors and production issues with that movie were insane. And especially because it was George Lucas's first try at this whole thing we know and love called Star Wars. But Michigan or Michigan State? What are you talking about? Okay, but Tony Gilroying this whole thing, it's a possibility. They're going to get another writer, obviously, and that writer's just going to build upon what happened before. Whatever Damon Lindelof came up with obviously was changed by Stephen Knight drastically, but Stephen Knight must have been very close to either a script or close to a fully finished script, because Daisy Ridley has said in that interview that we just watched, that she has read something. Some sort of script, she has read it. So that means that something is coming very, very soon. And whomever the next writer coming on board is, they're just going to build upon that. So will this series be delayed, movie be delayed? 90% of you say yes in the chat. 90% of you. Now, I've not made up my mind on this yet. Okay? I really haven't. On the one hand, December 2026 is still over 2 years away. You have a long time to make a movie in that time. A script is pretty much probably already finished on the inside. The idea has already been there for years now. And you have a treasure trove of incredible writers in Hollywood that want to work on a Star Wars movie. So it's probably not that hard to do. However, do you want to rush something so important? The Rey movie, we've talked about its significance and its importance moving past the sequel trilogy and fixing the sequel trilogy, whether you believe that it deserves fixing or needs fixing or not. The Rey movie has such an important job to do. It has to take what happened in the sequel trilogy, whether you like it or not, expand upon it, and bring us into the future of the Star Wars galaxy post Skywalker saga. So from characters like Rey to Finn to Poe to even characters like Grogu, Ezra Bridger, Ahsoka, Sabine, those characters, where they are at this point in the timeline, if they are still even alive, and how they affect the future moving past. Grogu is supposed to be our future. He's the face of Star Wars right now, and he could live for the next 800 years. So what happens with him moving past the sequel trilogy is of the utmost importance. So the Rey movie needs to do that extremely well. Set up the future post Skywalker saga, post Rise of Skywalker, post the Emperor, post the First Order. So that's what it has to do. It has a very difficult job. So do we want to rush that? Probably not. But there is a date that one movie needs to make. And there's really only two options here. There's only two. And that is the Dawn of the Jedi movie and this Rey movie. Those are the only two options right now that could fit the role of December 2026. I believe still that the Rey movie is leaps and bounds ahead of this new Jedi Order movie. But does it have enough time to make a quality movie in just over 2 years? That's the question. That's the big question. So can you get a good new writer fast enough, finish it all up, start filming next year? See, you got some time. You got some time, because even a script doesn't have to be finished by the time you start filming. Scripts change all the time on set, all the time. A script that's finished before the filming ever begins is going to change when you're filming the movie. It's just guaranteed. So it doesn't have to be a fully finished script. Absolutely. But you don't want to rush it. The significance of this Rey movie is so huge. It has to be a success. Has to be. And they know that. They know the hatred for the character of Rey. They know the hatred for the sequel trilogy exists in portions of the Star Wars fandom all over the place. So they need to hit it out of the park with the Rey movie, and they need to do it correctly. Now, still almost 90% of you guys think this movie will be delayed, but there is a set release date that they have to make. So do you think the new Jedi Order movie will be taking that place? Do you think James Mangold can pull a horseshoe out of his ass? Sorry, James. And come up with a new Jedi Order movie in the next 2 years? Write it, film it, post-production, get it ready for December 2026? Honestly, I know he's a good-ass director. I don't think so. I think what's going to happen here, depending on who, obviously the name is important, depending on who the next writer for the Rey movie is, I think it has to be done. That movie has to be done by December 2026. But tell me what you think in the chat right now, because I have this other article coming from Bespin that I want to read too. Okay. Let's read this. This article also came from yesterday. I'm not sure if it came from before or after the Daisy news, but let's read it. So, whoops, what the heck? Oh, there we go. Okay, so Stephen Knight reportedly exits the Daisy Ridley New Jedi Order movie. By the way, New Jedi Order is just a working title. This is not the title of the movie as far as we're aware. It could be, but we don't know. Bespin rules. Yeah, Bespin is probably one of the best, so that's why we're here. Just a couple of days ago, the star of the sequel trilogy, Daisy Ridley, who's set to reprise her role as Rey Skywalker in the upcoming New Jedi Order movie, working title, revealed that fans can expect an update on the flick soon. That she was excited about it, about the project, and that it was evolving. Sorry. We talked about this on Tuesday's stream. Remember, she said, can't tell you much, but things are evolving and it looks great and I'm excited. She said like 3 sentences. It got people excited. It got people hyped up. But the news that she was referring to was probably not that Stephen Knight is leaving the project. So let's read this. Now it's being reported that the writer of the project, Stephen Knight, has exited the project. Probably not the update that fans were expecting or hoping for. According to the new report from Matt Baloney,
I gotta a bad feeling about this.
Matt Baloney? Great name. Okay. Matt Baloney. Sorry, Matt. At Puck News, it shares that Stephen Knight is now off the new Jedi Order efforts after coming on board the project in the first quarter of 2023, over a year and a half ago, following the exit of the film's original writer, Damon Lindelof, and Justin Brett Gibson. Lindelof had been working on the project for close to 2 years before he was asked to leave the project by Kathleen Kennedy, who led Lucasfilm, with rumors that Lindelof's script featured an elderly version of Rey Skywalker and 2 young Force users. Once Knight joined the project, the film abandoned that idea of an older Rey. So instead of keeping Damon Lindelof around and just reworking Rey, they went and got Daisy Ridley to, of course, come back and play a younger version of Rey, not an old version of Rey. And they fully reworked the movie with Stephen Knight instead of Damon Lindelof. I don't know if Lindelof was like set his mind on an old version of Rey and that's why they couldn't work with him. I don't know. I have no clue. But either way, yeah. Conspiracy time. Matt Baloney is Dave Filoni. Oh my God. I doubt it. Okay. That would be ironic, as the great Palpatine once said. Okay, Stephen Knight is best known for his work on the wildly popular series Peaky Blinders, a show which he created and is due to have a film release next year. With the script from Knight, next year. With the script from Knight, Knight's other works include films such as Locke, I don't know what that is, Eastern Promises, and Spencer. Don't know what either of those are either. As well as some TV shows, Taboo, nope. C, nope. SAS, nope. And Rogue Heroes. Haven't heard of any of them, except for Peaky Blinders. His newly written efforts, the film Maria, starring Angelina Jolie, is due to release later this year. The Puck News report did not mention any reason for Stephen Knight's exit. So here's what we're looking for, a reason. But mentioned that Lucasfilm are now in the process of finding a new writer for the project. There's no mention on the status of the film director, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. So you're to assume Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's position is safe. However, the report does mention that the new Jedi Order movie is unlikely to make its planned release of December 18th, 2026. So the initial article from Puck News does say that it is unlikely that it will make the release date of December 18th, 2026. But we just talked about this. This is a set release date that most likely is not going to change. It's an untitled Star Wars movie that needs to be filled by a Star Wars movie. Let's keep reading. Lucasfilm has never publicly announced release date for this new Jedi Order movie, and the aforementioned December 2026 date only lists as an untitled Star Wars film. However, it is widely believed that the film's due to release in that window, that was due to release in that window, is the new Jedi Order movie. With initial plans to shoot in the film this year, which slipped into early next year, with Daisy Ridley herself stating the hope was to shoot the new Jedi Order movie in 2025 to make that December 2026 release date. So Daisy Ridley has confirmed this for us, that the hope is to film this movie in early 2025, or at least in 2025 itself. Now that makes the most sense, because you got to finish this movie before December 2026. You got to start filming as soon as possible. TJ, what's up? So that makes the most sense. Tony, how we doing? John Groom in the house. Jeez, what's up, guys? Okay, but let's keep reading. It remains to be seen if Lucasfilm will attempt to push up the release for another one of their films that they have in development, possibly James Mangold's efforts for Dawn of the Jedi, or if they'll abandon the date altogether. Lucasfilm have other untitled Star Wars movies dated for December 2027, and The Mandalorian and Grogu, which is due to release in May of 2026 and is currently in production. Actually, we got some news about that, but we'll get to that in a little bit. In June of this year, I reported exclusively that the new Jedi Order would not film this year. Blah, 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 blah. They were right. patting themselves on the back a little bit here. I was told that the reason that production had slipped out of 2024 was due to the script issues, and that Lucasfilm wanted to get the script right before allowing cameras to roll. I added at the time that one source said Lucasfilm was looking for a new writer, but I did not know if that was to work alongside of Stephen Knight to touch up a draft, or to take over writing duties from Stephen Knight. So, here's the deal. I believe, here's what I see from an outside perspective looking in. I believe Stephen Knight had the intentions to always make this Peaky Blinder movie, but they didn't know if that Peaky Blinder movie was going to be greenlit. It gets greenlit. He has to work on that. He needs help. And all the way back in June of this year, about 5-6 months ago, or close to 4 or 5 months ago, there was word from Lucasfilm that they were already looking for another writer. Probably just to help out Stephen Knight, but who knows? Maybe, just maybe, it was to replace him because he's such a busy guy. This is all just speculation for now. As far as we're aware, it's all just speculation. But let's keep reading. The news of Stephen Knight's reported exit is not surprising, and it's just another disappointing update for fans that were looking forward to this project. Personally, I haven't been a fan of Stephen Knight's work, really. So I'm not as disheartened by the loss of this writer, and I hope they find one that I feel is exciting. So I mentioned this before. I absolutely love Stephen Knight, purely off of Peaky Blinders. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. So it's kind of hard for me to just say this is not a loss at all. It's a big loss. He's a guy I was very much looking forward to. Very much looking forward to. And now he's gone, or at least so we're led to believe. So they got to get another big name. That's the big deal. And honestly, if they're smart, Lucasfilm, if you're watching, and we know that you are, go get Tony Gilroy. Go get Tony. Tony is coming off the backs of Andor Season 2. Andor Season 2 is done. It's in post-production currently right now. It's going to come out in 2025. He's not doing anything. Well, I guess he's post-producing Andor Season 2. But he's already done the writing for it. It's already been completed. Go get Tony. You saw what he did with Rogue One. You've seen what he's done with Andor Season 1, Andor Season 2. Why not? He's a proven success in Star Wars when all you're looking for are proven successes. We talk about this time and time again. Disney themselves as a company, Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, are trying to focus on guaranteed successes. The Mandalorian is their biggest project on Disney+, most viewed thing. They push it into the movie theaters with the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. With Marvel, they're slimming down their releases, getting rid of all the stuff that they know fans aren't looking forward to, and really pushing out the big stuff. The Fantastic Four, the Avengers movies, Spider-Man. They're pushing out the big names. Guaranteed successes. Tony Gilroy, a guy you have right in your pocket right now, is a guaranteed success. He can make this Rey movie into what you want it to be. And not only that, he can persuade some fans to go watch it. Tony Gilroy, the guy that brought you Andor, the show you love so much. Rogue One, the best movie we've produced as Disney Lucasfilm. He's now doing the Rey movie. Seems like a no-brainer, chat. Seems like a no-brainer. But tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think, chat. Okay. Hang on. This says update. Let's read this first. This says update. Update at 7:40 a.m. BST. Variety has confirmed the exclusive that Puck News reported on Stephen Knight's exit for the new Jedi Order movie. Variety added that Lucasfilm are actively looking for new writers, and if the new Jedi Order goes into production next year, it will be well into next year. Interesting. We did just read that article. Thank you for reading, blah, 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 blah. What do we think, chat? Bring in Tony? Nobody can make this movie a masterpiece? I disagree. Here's the thing. Aunio? Is it Aunio? Why? Why can't this movie be a masterpiece? Why can't the Rey movie be a masterpiece? Is it because it's after the sequel trilogy? Is it because it's a movie about Rey? That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Think about it this way. Let me say it's safe to assume that you don't like the sequel trilogy. Hey, tell me if I'm wrong. The sequel trilogy, do you like Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy? How they treated that character in the sequel trilogy? Let's just say, to play devil's advocate, you don't. Exactly right. Okay, perfect. I was right. Sometimes I get right sometimes. So you don't like Luke Skywalker's treatment in the sequel trilogy. Okay, perfect. That's fine. Do you like Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy? Probably. That's why you don't like him in the sequel trilogy, because it's a very different character. He's in a different spot in his life, blah, 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 blah. But they're both Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy, Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy, they're the same character at very different points in their lives, very different experiences in their lives. They're the same character. So Rey in the sequel trilogy versus Rey 20 years later is a completely different character. So to say that the original trilogy is a masterpiece and the sequel trilogy isn't is the same thing as saying that the sequel trilogy isn't, but the Rey movie could be one. Does that make sense? So just because you don't like the sequel trilogy, you don't like the character of Rey, doesn't mean the Rey movie can't be incredible. Can't be something that would be absolutely as good as sliced bread as the original trilogy. I'm not saying it will be better than the original trilogy. I'm hoping that it is. But to say that there's no possible way that it could be a masterpiece, could be good, is to say just because the original trilogy was good, that means the sequel trilogy has to be good. Or just because the sequel trilogy is bad, the original trilogy has to be bad too. Does that not make sense? 1 + 1 is 2, and 2 + 2 is 17. You know? Different writers with the same character is the same thing, you know? The sequel trilogy disregarded the original trilogy. I disagree with that, but I understand where you're coming from with it, but I don't think you just heard what I said. You don't like the original characters, Luke, Leia, and Han, in the sequel trilogy, but you do like them in the original trilogy. Why can't it be the same for Rey, Finn, Poe, Kylo Ren? Well, I guess he's dead, but Finn, Rey, Poe in the sequel trilogy versus a new trilogy or just a Rey movie? Why can't one be the same as the other? You know? Where the fuck did you get 17? You just carry the 1, you know? Lee with a very generous $5 holla. God damn, Lee, I appreciate that quite a bit. Says Mike, love you, dude. Love you right back. Says, with sincerity, Fifth Element, you will thank us, please. Okay. Do your best. Crinkly? Oh, Crinkly. Palpatine killing Luke in Return of the Jedi. Okay. I'll try my best. I shall try my best. In the Fifth Element, I'm right now, it's sort of just become a joke. Like, I can't watch it. I almost can't watch it now. At this point, I just can't watch it. All right, what did you want me to do? Crinkly, Palpatine killing Luke in Return of the Jedi. Okay. Palpatine's death in Return of the Jedi. Do I have to put death in quotations? Is it not going to show up if I don't? All right, let's see. Whoa, that's loud.
If you will not be turned, you will be destroyed.
All right, let's see how my Palpatine's feeling today. My Palpatine's not really that good, I must admit, but let's find out.
If you will not be turned,
If you will not be turned.
you will be.
If you will not be turned, you will be destroyed.
destroyed.
That's not horrible. Let me give it. Take two. Take two. Roll back the cameras. Roll back the cameras.
If you will not be turned,
If you will not be dead. No, nope, that's horrible. If you will not be dead. That's. Damn it, Ian. Ian McDermott, if you're watching, we know that you are. Why? Why is your voice so hard to recreate? Let's try it again.
if you will not be turned,
If you will not be turned,
you will be destroyed.
you will be destroyed. Not horrible. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Lee. I really, really do. Memberships, super chats, keep the lights on over here. Again, it would be really, really funny if you guys, if the channel took a turn for the worst and I just turned on the stream and it was just a black screen. You know it's your fault. You know it's your fault because the super chats, the memberships, keep the lights on over here. But I appreciate it. Yeah, I really, really do. Oh my God, Jordan Rennie with another $5 holla. God damn. Says, I love Andor and Rogue One, and Tony Gilroy has definitely proven himself in this universe. He knows how to write characters and gives weight to their stories. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tony Gilroy is the guy. When you look at it this way, there's a few directors, producers, writers that fans, the Star Wars fandom as a whole, trusts. There's not very many of them, but there are a few. Tony Gilroy is definitely one of them. I would argue Dave Filoni's in that conversation, Jon Favreau's in that conversation, Bryce Dallas Howard's in that conversation, Mr. Willie Mon's in that conversation, absolutely, after what he did with Andor. It's not that, I mean, obviously George Lucas, but it's not that long of a list. It's really not. And Tony is one of those guys. So if you have the opportunity, because he's done with Andor, to bring him over to do this Rey movie, it would be incredible. It would be great publicity, but also it would be incredible. Yeah. Okay, where was I here? I missed so many chats. Okay. John Groom says, imagine the galaxy starts fighting Thrawn, but they realize his real motivation is protecting his people from the powerful alien species. I think the next ongoing threat has to come from another galaxy. John, the problem with that is the sequel trilogy, honestly, because Thrawn is becoming the heir to the Empire right now in the Mandoverse, which is about 20-ish years before the sequel trilogy. I don't think there's enough time or explanation to bring in a threat like the Vong or Abeloth in this time period that we know and love, the Mandoverse. Thrawn can be the heir to the Empire, and he can be destroyed. The First Order can rise. Snoke can come to power. Kylo Ren can fall. But to have a powerful being like Abeloth come into the galaxy and it not be mentioned in the sequel trilogy at all seems a little bit more difficult. A little bit more difficult to accomplish. Now, is it impossible? No. You look at some of the story that's told in the prequel era that's not referred to in the original trilogy era or anything like that. It's true. Like, Thrawn's not even mentioned in the original trilogy. Now, you could argue that Thrawn wasn't a character that was invented in 1977, and that's absolutely true. But with the storyline, timeline's sake of Star Wars in universe, Thrawn existed, but he's not mentioned in the original trilogy. Same can be said about many other characters. Oh my God, Tony with a very, very generous $10 holla. Oh my God, you guys are feeling generous tonight, and I appreciate it. Says I've been a member for a year to this day. Oh shit, Tony! I appreciate that quite a bit, Tony. I really do. Says this is to a mic. This is to a mic. Looking forward to your 100K. I am too, Tony. We did just hit 96,000 this week. We are on our road to 97,000. And of course, on that road to 100K. So I appreciate it, Tony. I really do. 1 year membership. That's absolutely insane, Tony. That's abso-fruitly insane. Okay. Lee says, Locke is a 2013 psychological drama road film written and directed by Stephen Knight. It stars Tom Hardy as the title role. Never heard of it. Definitely never seen it. Okay. The only reason that writers would leave is because of interference in their writing. So he's not the first writer to leave because he's the third. I don't really follow. You think they interfered with his writing? Honestly, with the Stephen Knight leaving type deal, I think this is just because he's too busy. I think his first priority is his own movie, the Peaky Blinders movie, that is. And Disney wants to sort of streamline this Rey movie, get it out as soon as possible because they have a strict deadline that is December 2026, and they want to get it out as soon as possible. You know? I don't think there's interference going on here. Not with this one. The stockholders would riot if we don't have a Rey movie by 2026. I don't think they would riot, but I don't think it would be a good look. That's for sure. That's for sure. Damn, Tony, I'm sorry to hear that. Anthony says, Mike, face it, the new Jedi Order / Rey movie is never getting made. Especially if there's a changing of the guard on November 1st. No Kathleen Kennedy is no Rey movie. What do you mean November 1st? Pretty sure Kathleen's on till like May of like Grandmaster just said there. May 2026. Oh, 2025. Yeah, that's what I thought. Next May. Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy's on for quite some time after this. Yeah. They don't have a plan? Well, it's not a trilogy. But that's true. Well, that's sort of the news of it all is Jon Favreau got this role about this time last year of Chief Creative Officer to oversee everything. So hopefully, moving forward, everything has a plan. You know? Hopefully. But we'll see. RG says, we've never seen him doing a Force-centric project. Before Tony and Dave co-writing would be very interesting. Oh, never saw Tony Gilroy doing a Force-centric project. That's true. Doing Rogue One, doing Andor, he hasn't really been involved in the Force or Jedi. But him and Dave writing on it would be incredible. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. The importance of this Rey movie is huge because I know a lot of you guys in the chat either don't want to see the Rey movie, aren't that excited for it, or whatever. It's the future, moving past the sequel trilogy. We're never not going to go past the sequel trilogy. There's an infinite amount of stories to tell, an infinite amount of everything to do after the sequel trilogy. Yes, you can go back and tell stories. You can go back to the Old Republic. You can go back to the Dawn of the Jedi, and it will all hopefully be really, really good. But at some point, you have to move past that sequel trilogy, whether you like it or not. And that Rey movie is the start of that. And it has to be done at a very, 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 very high level. So putting all your stuff into it, all your best people on it, Tony, Dave, all of them, would be the best bet. Absolutely. The problem with Dave, though, co-writing that is Dave's got to do Ahsoka Season 2 and his own Mando movie. So he's going to be quite the busy guy. I don't know if he's going to have the time to co-write a movie like that. Yeah. Daisy says there's no release date. Please go to the playlist website with the interview. She says this. Playlist website? What are you talking about? I think Mike's onto something here. I don't know what that's referring to, but yes. Mike, Tony Gilroy is done with Star Wars. As soon as season 2 of Andor is released, he's not a Star Wars fan. He's not interested in being a part of the long journey of Star Wars. I will give you that. He's talked about it publicly before that he's not like this hardcore Star Wars fan. He's a fan of the franchise, obviously. Why else would he work on it? But he is not the hardcore fan like we are, or like Dave Filoni is, or Jon Favreau is, or like other creatives like that. So he doesn't really know the whole lore and backstory of Star Wars, but that he can still be a great writer for a Star Wars project and have other people around him that can help him with the lore aspects of that stuff. You know? Aaron says, it would be interesting to see how Tony Gilroy could handle a story that's more Star Warsy. That's, yeah, by Star Warsy, he means Force and lightsabers. I can't say it would be a sure bet, but I can't count it out either. That's true. And I'm not just saying just bring on Tony Gilroy, because just him alone is not what's creating Andor either. Andor has so many Easter eggs and callbacks to like the Rakatan Empire, like absolutely insane lore stuff in Star Wars. Tony doesn't know that kind of stuff. He's publicly said that. So there's somebody else in there, whether it's Dave Filoni or somebody else that's working at Lucasfilm that's putting these Easter eggs in. That's explaining the sort of lore aspect of, or lore side of things. Yeah. UV Clip says, hear me out. What if they got someone like Michael Garciano to direct? He directed Werewolf by Night. Oh, yeah. I don't know who he is, but I do know Werewolf by Night, which is really good. And he also made some of the greatest music oats. Including Rogue One. What? He also made some of the greatest music of all time, including Rogue One. Wait, he's a director and a composer? What? Who is this guy? What are you talking about? What you talking about? The Force Dragon, what's up? They should make the villain of the Rey movie the Vong or the Nameless. Well, that's a big thing too. The Rey movie needs a good villain. If you're going to draw in people to come watch this movie, you're not just going to need it to be incredibly well written, like fix, for lack of a better word, the character arcs of Finn, Rey, Poe, Ben Solo. Like, you're going to have to go in and do some damage control. But you also need a good bad guy. Every Star Wars movie, every Marvel movie, every movie ever needs a good villain. Or else, I mean, you're only as good as your villain, I think, honestly. Yes, you have to have good heroes, people like character arcs to latch on to, but you're only as good as your villain. And with Star Wars, you have some of the greatest villains of all time, from Vader to Palpatine to Dooku to Maul to even more recent ones like Kylo and Chimera, Baylan Skoll, Shin Hati, like those type, Moff Gideon, Thrawn, those types of amazing bad guys. So you're going to need a new one with the Rey movie, or maybe even not a new one. You could go with Abeloth. You could go with Darth Krayt. You could go with Darth Talon somehow, some way. Change her story up a little bit. But you need a good villain. And we know so little about this Rey movie right now, but the villain is a necessity. Needs to be good. And with the Sith being gone, Palpatine being the end of the Sith, I actually don't think the best plan is to bring back a Sith. Yes, there could be some sort of faction of Sith-esque beings, dark side users in the galaxy. That would be kind of cool. But for Palpatine to die 15 years before this and say, I'm the end of the Sith, then 15 years later, the Sith are just back like that kind of, takes it all up. I vote the Vong for the next bad guy. Well, if you go with an alien species like the Vong, a Force-sensitive alien species, then that would be pretty cool. But you also need a main bad guy. So like one specific leader, I guess. Yeah. What if Rey is possessed? I always loved that idea. When in The Rise of Skywalker, Palpatine says, strike me down and I will live in you. And you'll become all the Sith. Something along those lines. And then like some action happens, some fight happens, blah 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 blah. And then she strikes him down. So wouldn't that imply that Palpatine got his way, got his wishes, and now he can go inside of her and live on forever? I hate to say it, but somehow Palpatine could return again. Yeah. That's at one point I really liked that theory. I'm off of that now. I'm not the biggest fan of that theory because I don't want Palpatine to return again. No offense. Love the guy. As a fandom, we can't handle that. We really can't. If this Rey movie starts with somehow Palpatine returned again, that would be tough. But Rey going down the dark path would be pretty cool. Not going to lie. I always wanted her to turn to the dark side. It would have been awesome. It would have been awesome. Mike, it can't be a masterpiece because because its existence would be built on the very divisive trio of movies, the sequel trilogy. No, I don't like how Luke, Han, Lando were treated in the sequel trilogy. That's true that it's built off of the sequel trilogy. However, let's not forget, the prequel trilogy was not very well received either. They made the Clone Wars and things changed. If you watch the prequel trilogy, it's good. I think personally it's really, really good. I'm a huge fan of course, Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie, but I think Attack of the Clones is severely underrated. And The Phantom Menace is good too. But a lot of fans would disagree with me on that. A lot of fans do not like the prequel trilogy for one reason or another. However, the 7-season Clone Wars animated show, which gives us countless more hours of content with the characters of Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Padme, Yoda, Mace Windu, Plo Koon, all these characters, adds to that story so much. So I've been always an advocate for the sequel trilogy not being very well received. If you add on stuff around that, post-sequel trilogy stuff with Rey, pre-sequel trilogy stuff with Luke, Ben Solo's fall, Snoke's in the First Order's rise to power, all that stuff, then you can really make it better just by building around it, you know? Yeah, I know. RG says, it essentially has to be the best Star Wars movie we've seen in years. I agree with that. I think the Rey movie has to be the best Star Wars movie we've seen in years. And I think it has the possibility to do so. I do. I honestly really, really, really do. Especially if they're setting up Abeloth in the Mandoverse to be the villain. Yeah. That'd be pretty wild. And you got to remember, it's 20 years later. She has her own, it's not 2 years later. This is well over a decade later. A lot happens in 15 years, especially in the Star Wars galaxy. The time gap between the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy is 19 years. Think about all the stuff that happened in that time period. A lot can happen in 15 years. So she's going to already have her own Jedi Order with younglings. And those younglings are going to be new characters in Star Wars. And hopefully, if all goes right, the new main characters moving forward. So hopefully they're just as good, if not better, as new characters as well. John Groom says, I've not got a problem with Rey. I've not got a problem with Rey, and I really like Daisy Ridley. My problem with Rey's arc in the sequel trilogy is that it bounced all around too much. If she was a Palpatine from the beginning, it would have been great. I would have loved it. It would have been so cool. If Palpatine was planned from the beginning, and then it dropped like a mic drop in the third movie, and nobody expected it, that's a different story. The fact that it wasn't planned, and then he just happens to return, that's completely different. So if Rey was actually a Palpatine from the jump, and that's the way it went, it would have been insane. I would have loved it. But the fact that they jumped back and forth with a lot of different characters, not just Rey, but Rey specifically, that's why I'm not the biggest fan of her character. I love Daisy Ridley. She can't do anything wrong. She's so good when it comes to a media presence. When you listen to her talk in interviews, she's strategic in what she's saying. She's not trying to anger the fandom. You know that she loves the work she's doing. Like, she's the perfect actress or actor or actress to play a role in Star Wars. Like, she's the person you want. She's not going to ruffle feathers. She's going to say the right things. She's not going to spoil anything. She's the perfect actress to do that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to play some Battlefront 2 while listening to your stream. LOL, that sounds like the greatest Saturday night of my life. Or of your life. Yeah. Have you seen the film with Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland on Another Planet, where you can hear men's thoughts? Pretty good. I have not. I remember seeing a trailer with the two of them in a movie, but I didn't see it. No. I did not see it. No. Oh, Jordan again. with $2 holla says, just helping keep the lights on. I appreciate that, Jordan. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. UV Clip says, Mike, hear me out. What if... Oh, you already read that. I already read that. Oh, you might have sent it twice. Okay, sorry. Sorry. Have you reacted to Emperor Palpatine if he was voiced by Mark Hamill's Joker? What? No. What? No, I have not. Funny and brave of you to assume that people like George Lucas. Do people not like George Lucas? That would be a turn. That would be crazy. I would not expect that at all. Pretty sure he's beloved by most, if not all. The biggest question is whether or not Tony would want to do it. I'm pretty sure a nice check that looks like a bunch of zeros on it would, with a 1 in front of it, would be pretty persuading. Yeah. Yeah. What if Thrawn was cloned? No. I mean, it's a possibility, but no. No. Christoph, what's up? Says, I don't know if I should love or hate the sequels now. Well, that's completely up to you. You know? Mr. Beckham, what's up? How we doing? All this is so confusing now. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of contradicting messages. Daisy Ridley saying one thing, the media saying a different thing. It's all over the place. It's absolutely all over the place, for sure. Yeah. Oh, Patrick with a very generous $2 holla. I appreciate that. Says, hope the movie isn't delayed. I like Rey. Well, honestly, even though I didn't like what they did with her character in the sequel trilogy, I like her character. I think there's a lot of possible great outcomes for her character. I think her training Finn and training a new Jedi Order will be fan-frickin-tastic, but it all depends on how it's done, I guess. But I agree with you. I hope it's not delayed either. Vaughn Gell, what's up? How we doing? What is up? Salad Vaughn, what's up? Says, I work with kids, and I was looking through one of their Pokemon books, and one of them was named Palpitoad. There was a Pokemon name inspired by Palpatine? That's crazy. Maybe Abeloth gets freed, but then Luke and the others trap her again, and she becomes the new villain of the Rey movie. Or what if she gets freed by Balin, but Shin, Shin, Sabine, Huge Wang, and Ahsoka are able to contain her on Peridea until the Rey movie. Here's the thing. There's a possibility that Ahsoka never comes back. Season 2 of Ahsoka is going to probably set up, or it might be after the Mando movie, so it might not set up the Mando movie. It's either going to set up the Mando and Grogu movie, or it's going to set up the next Mando movie. And it's probably going to be a lot about Thrawn and his struggles against Hera Syndulla in the New Republic in the main galaxy, whilst Balin Skoll's freeing Abeloth and Ahsoka, Huge Wang, and Sabine are dealing with that on Peridea. Maybe some Force Ghost Anakin in there. I don't really know if Season 2 of Ahsoka is going to bring Ahsoka and the others back to the main galaxy. There's a possibility that Ahsoka stays there forever. We don't know. She is the daughter. She's the living embodiment of the light side of the Force. And the daughter, the son, and the father are the ones who contained Abeloth on this prison. Again, this is all legends for now. Like, Abeloth as a character is still technically legends, but we're led to believe that Season 1 alludes to her. But let's just say for a second that you need a son, a daughter, and a father to keep Abeloth imprisoned on Peridea. Well, you got Ahsoka, who's the living embodiment of the light side, the daughter. Many fans, myself included, believe that Anakin became the father in the afterlife. He became the balance between the light and the dark. That's what we see in Ahsoka. So there you go. You got the father. Now you just need the son. Now, the son could be Shin Hati, if you want to have it be a character on Peridea. The son could be Balin Skoll. The son could be Darth Maul, somebody who's already dead. Could be anybody, really. Or maybe you just need the daughter and the father to keep her there. Either way, it's a possibility that they're not coming home. Ahsoka, Sabine, Huge Wang, they're not coming home. They might be where they're supposed to be, like Ahsoka mentions at the end of season 1, and they're supposed to be keeping Abeloth a prisoner there. Could be. I don't know. Ahsoka season 2 is going to be very important to not only what happens in the Mandoverse, but also what happens in the Rey movie. Like, the events that happen now in the timeline could be affecting a story that's told 40-ish years later, which is pretty cool. Yeah. The only reason that people hated the prequel trilogy is because they were so different from the originals. The sequels just ripped off the originals. Okay, but think about that sentence again. You just said the only reason that people hated the prequels was because they're so different than the originals. So they did something similar to the originals, and they still hated them. Well, there you go. So let's put on our thinking caps today, Chad. Well, Rey can't be possessed because she was having all the ghosts of the Jedi essentially possessing her in a way. That's true, so she's already been possessed. Imagine seeing like a afterlife battle of Palpatine versus all the Jedi. That'd be crazy. Probably not, but we'll be crazy. A man can dream. Amanda, what's up? Please no more Palpatine. I agree with that. I've seen rumors about a Legends dark side user coming in the Mandoverse. A girl who said she was Palpatine's daughter. What? I have not seen that. What if Grogu is the new hero? Well, I'm assuming, or I'm hoping, that when this Rey movie gets made, we will see Grogu involved in the story. But we'll see. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Grogu seems like a no-brainer to be your future. He's lovable, he's cute, and he's going to live for the next 800 years. So if he's not in the Rey movie, that's going to need some more explaining than whether or not he is in the movie. Now, the Mandalorian and Grogu coming out first before the Rey movie would allow the broader audience of Star Wars, the more normie fans who only watch the movies, to be introduced to Grogu. So when he shows up in the Rey movie, it would make sense. Yeah. And what about Rey's parents, good or bad, or just what, who? Who were Rey's parents? Rey's parents, one was Palpatine's clone that wasn't Force sensitive, her father, Dathan. And her mom, Miramir, was a really good pilot, and she was born on Corellia, I believe. Somebody fact check me on that. But Dathan is born on Exegol, or created on Exegol. As a cloned version of Palpatine, but he's a failed clone version of Palpatine as he is not Force sensitive. He ends up escaping Exegol, meeting Miramir, falling in love, having Rey. And then they both die to Ochi of Bastoon. And then Ochi goes and dies on what's that desert planet in The Rise of Skywalker? On damn it, chat, help me out, I don't know. Okay, going back to the Rey movie. If this movie is indeed delayed, then there's only one movie that can take its place, and that is the new Jedi Order movie. And just so happens that we did get some new Jedi Order movie news. Sorry, not new Jedi Order. What the hell? Dawn of the Jedi. Hang on. James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi, set 25,000 years before anything else. The Dawn of the Jedi. This is the only movie that can be its replacement, and it just so happens that we have some news about that movie as well. Pasana, thank you. Not Jakku. Jakku is where Rey is. Pasana is the desert planet in the Rise of Skywalker. Okay. Let's read this. Oh, wrong article. Let's do this. Okay. An update on James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi film, as it could be filming in 2025. Let's read this. After posting, we have some clarification from our source. Okay, so this is an update. Okay. in the know. Working on Dawn of the Jedi is apparently going well. Both James Mangold and Mr. Willimon, though Mangold is currently focusing on a complete unknown, which is the Bob Dylan biopic. But perhaps more importantly, there is no specific production timeline in place. Our reading of the situation is that the original report, which you will find below, is not entirely inaccurate. There may be hopes for a 2025 shoot, but no compromises have been made. No compromises? I think that's supposed to just say promises, but I could be wrong. It seems Dawn of the Jedi origin film coming from James Mangold, is very much on schedule. According to Daniel RPK via World of Reels, the movie is scheduled to begin filming next year, he still is, there still has one more project on the docket, a complete unknown, the Bob Dylan biopic that comes out this December. James Mangold should be ready to start working on the Dawn of the Jedi straight after that. So after this movie releases in December, he should be ready right away to go work on this movie. That probably means that he still won't start filming until near the end of next year, putting the window of 2027 release at its earliest, which always seems likely. So there is a release date for December of 2027, but let's talk about, could this movie make that 2026 release date? Let's find out. Okay. Well, there are also claims that Daisy Ridley's new Jedi Order movie with director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is stalled. The actress said recently in an update that an update is coming soon. And we talked about this before on Thursday's stream. This update for the new Jedi Order movie, which Daisy Ridley talks about here and in the interview we watched earlier, could be happening at D23 Brazil. We will be getting some sort of update on the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, probably a trailer, if not another trailer, for Skeleton Crew, and hopefully some news on the Rey movie as well at D23 in Brazil, which happens in 2 weeks? 2 weeks. 2 weekends from now, we'll be hopefully getting some pretty big Star Wars news when it comes to the Rey movie, Mando movie, Skeleton Crew, and all that stuff at D23 Brazil on November 8th, 9th, and 10th. Well, let's keep reading. In any event, it will definitely arrive after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which is filming right now and has a release date of May 22nd, 2026. If Dawn of the Jedi is indeed going to start filming next year, it will only be a few months before we start getting more updates on it. So far, we know very little other than its brief synopsis, that it's set right before the beginning of the Jedi history, and we will see the very beginning of the Jedi Order's formation, and with Andor writer Mr. Willimon as co-writing the script with James Mangold. So it's supposed to be the beginning of the Jedi, the first lightsaber, the first Force user, all that stuff. Hopefully in a canon version that's just as good as its Legends counterpart. Perhaps Lucasfilm will prepare some sort of update for us in time for Star Wars Celebration in Japan next year. Maybe some early casting announcements. Perhaps we'll finally find the right Star Wars role for Keanu Reeves, and some more in-depth story details. Either way, that's still about 6 months away, so we'll have to wait a long time for an update like that. So here's the deal. Is it possible that this movie could start filming next year? Yes. Is it possible that it could start filming early enough in next year so that it could meet its release date of December 2026? I don't know. It's possible, but it would have to be really, really, really quick. Now, having Mr. Willimon and James Mangold, two incredible writers, working on it at the same time could speed up the process drastically, but it could also allow you to start filming without a fully fleshed out script, and then sort of work while filming, you know? And here's the other thing, too. If Dawn of the Jedi can take the spot of the new Jedi Order movie and come out first, if it can take that role and be the first movie to come out before the Rey movie, it could also get fans more excited for said Rey movie. Here's the deal. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie is the first movie to release because it's a Mando movie. They know that it's a guaranteed success with this Mando movie. They know because the numbers don't lie. The Mandalorian is the most popular Disney Plus show they have. So bringing that, and of course Baby Yoda, Grogu, to the big screen is a easy win, hopefully. And that movie could make billions upon billions of dollars. So having that movie come out first is enormous and could be a gigantic win. That's why the Rey movie's not first. You left the theaters because of the sequel trilogy, because of the reaction or the fan interactions with the sequel trilogy. That's what put you on Disney Plus. 7 years later, you're not going to return with another sequel movie, so they put the Mando movie first. Now, if you put even more space in another hopefully big win with the Dawn of the Jedi before the Rey movie releases, now you're coming off of two massive successes with the Mandalorian and Grogu and the Dawn of the Jedi, multiple billions of dollars worth of Star Wars content. And now you'll be setting up the fandom for a hopeful win with the Rey movie. So honestly, if it can be done, I would not mind the Dawn of the Jedi movie coming out first, giving us hopefully two solid wins in the Star Wars fandom going into the Rey movie. And at that point, if I'm hopefully right, which let's be honest, chat, I'm always right. Clip it. No. I'm not always right, but I tend to be right as much as possible. If I'm right in this instance, where I think that all three of these movies, Dawn of the Jedi, New Jedi Order, Mando and Grogu, they're all beginnings of trilogies. A Mando trilogy, a New Jedi Order trilogy, and a Dawn of the Jedi trilogy. A sequel trilogy, a Mando trilogy, and a Dawn of the Jedi trilogy. It makes the most sense. And it would be hopefully the best bet for money making and, of course, hyping the fans up to get ready. Yeah. Absolutely. But what do we think, chat? Should the Dawn of the Jedi movie come out before the Rey movie? What do we think? What do we think? That article and the reports I've read from before that we read on Thursday's stream do say that this Dawn of the Jedi movie could begin filming as soon as next year. But the question remains, should it? Should it? Oops, sorry. Gotta scroll down here. Have you seen Bale and Skull? Have you seen that Bale and Skull could be in Skeleton Crew? That's impossible. Bale and Skull is currently with Ahsoka in the other galaxy. Skeleton Crew does not take place in that other galaxy. Yeah. No. What if Peridia is Star Wars' version of the multiverse? Similar characteristics with the Force, but it's totally different stories that can be told in a different type of reboot. No. That wouldn't even make sense. This galaxy is just a new galaxy. It's just a neighboring galaxy. It doesn't mean that you can reboot a story. It's not like a different universe. It is a different universe. It's not a different multiverse, I should say, where you can have a different version of a Luke Skywalker. No, you just got new characters. Yes. People know that a fandom isn't just one group of shared memory, right? And the more it persists, the more it fractures. Like a hydra, cut one head down and two grow back. And sometimes they compete. Absolutely. I mean, the Star Wars fandom is very is evidence to support that. Not we've talked about this before in Hatred and Love for the Acolyte show. We talked about it quite a bit. Whether you like the Acolyte or not doesn't really matter right now, but when you have a Star Wars fandom that's of millions, if not billions of Star Wars fans, each individual fan is going to have their own experience with Star Wars, experience with certain Star Wars projects, and love for individual projects. So if I love the Revenge of the Sith, it's my favorite Star Wars movie. Maybe you hate Revenge of the Sith. We can still both be Star Wars fans, but we just likes different aspects of the Star Wars universe. That's why Star Wars is so cool. It has so many different options with all these different types of stories being told. You can have a no lightsaber, no force, rebellion-esque story with Rogue One and I guess Vader's in Rogue One, but with Andor. Or you can have the exact opposite. All Force, all Jedi, all Sith, all lightsabers with the Acolyte. So it's sort of a like what you like, don't what you don't. Because the Star Wars fandom is so vast. Everybody has their own likes and dislikes. Yeah. Absolutely. Grandmaster says, so nothing is on the calendar until they actually put something on the calendar. Yes. She exclaims. When everything's ready to go, we'll be going. Yeah, no, so she pretty much says in that interview that she knows something and something's coming soon. She doesn't confirm anything. She's not giving us a release date or anything like that. But she does mention that they don't want to force it either. They want to make it good, which is great. I'd love to see a Knights of the Fallen Empire movie. That'd be pretty good. I mean, in live action too. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, let's talk. No, that's too off topic. I like to bounce around a lot, but that would be way too off topic. So never mind. Let's stay on topic. Dawn of the Jedi would be awesome. We need something that takes place in a different time period. They just need to execute it correctly. I absolutely agree. I think Dawn of the Jedi has a lot riding on it because of what it can accomplish. It can obviously give us the Dawn of the Jedi, which is very cool. Origin story for the Jedi, first lightsabers, first Force users, great. But it also sets us up in a new time period in the Star Wars galaxy. Like I said, I hope it's the beginning of a new trilogy, because now you can lead us into the split of the Jedi and the Sith eventually down the line, but also the Old Republic. The Old Republic is something that fans have been begging for. Some fans, I should say, have been begging for years now. And it's just this untapped gold mine that they're sitting on top of with already established characters that are legends right now, but you can bring them into canon just like they're doing with all these other characters, from Thrawn to Abeloth, if they go down the road of Abeloth. Yeah, absolutely. Dawn of the Jedi could be something very special. Indeed. If Grogu is the future, then we're back to the common problem. Where was he in the sequel trilogy? I mean, that's still the problem for the original trilogy. We don't know where Grogu was during the original trilogy either. So that's not, the problem's not gone. There's a lot of characters, Ahsoka, the Ghost Crew, Grogu, that we don't know where they were during the original trilogy. And yeah, you're completely right. Grogu's not in the sequel trilogy. Where was he? It'll be interesting to find out. But you can also say Ahsoka's not, Ezra's not, Sabine's not, Hera's not, Chopper's not, Din Djarin's not, Boba Fett's not, Fennec Shan's not. All these characters. Now, you could say that a lot of those characters could die by the time of the sequel trilogy, and you're probably right. But then where was Grogu? Grogu was captive during the original trilogy? By who? Last we see him during Order 66, he's saved by Keller and Beck from the Jedi Temple. And then we meet up with him 28 years later with some pirates. Something happened there. Indeed. Seriously, Star Wars sent a super chat, but retracted it. I appreciate it, I guess. Oh no, did that just... Oh, okay. Never mind. Never mind. I appreciate it anyway. I don't care, to be honest. I'm only hyped for Skeleton Crew right now. Okay, well, the Skeleton Crew news is pretty wild today. So if you guys want to switch gears, we can switch gears over to it. Because Skeleton Crew, we still know so little about it. 38 days until this show airs, and we know so little about it. Only one trailer and a bunch of images. That's it. We're still waiting for the second trailer. I am hoping and praying that this is the week where we get it. This is the week where it happens. We finally get the second trailer for this goddamn show. But hopefully it's this week. Either way, it will be coming soon. Seriously, Star Wars fixed the super chat. Very, very generous. $6.09. Just kidding. $6.99. I appreciate it. $7 holla. I appreciate it. Says excited for the Rey movie. Maybe Grogu and Cal Kestis are part of the Rey's new Jedi Order. I agree. These movies are all beginnings of trilogies. Yes. Cal Kestis is a difficult one because if he is, how old is Cal Kestis in his games? Is he 10 when Order 66 happens? Is that right, chat? Is he 10 when Order 66 happens or 12, something like that? How old is Cal Kestis when Order 66 happens, chat? Let's say he's 10, just for a nice round number. 19 years later, we'll round it to 20 because why not, is A New Hope. So that would make him 30 by the time of A New Hope, or 29, I guess. And then you're talking another 30 years? 30 years? At least another 30 years until the sequel trilogy. So he would be probably close to 75, 80 years old by the time of the Rey movie. I mean, he could be alive. 80 is a livable age for sure for a Force user as well. So he could be alive. He would be more of a sort of old man. He would be that sort of father figure-esque or Yoda type, Obi-Wan in the original trilogy type. Yeah. We should all play Battlefront 2 sometime. I would love that. But Battlefront 2 is tough because it's not cross-platform. And I have an Xbox, so if you have a PlayStation, we can't play. If you play it on PC, actually, I could get it on PC, I guess. Well, going back to this, seriously, Star Wars, I appreciate that quite a bit. Very, very generous super chat. I appreciate it. All right, let's talk Skeleton Crew for a second, though. Let's talk Skeleton Crew, shall we? Okay. Here it is. Wait. Yes, here we go. So, on Thursday, we took a peek at these images that were released from the Skeleton Crew. And these were the 4 images that were released. We'll start from here. So these were the 4 images that we looked at on Thursday. They might look familiar, but we got some new information. So, this is the first one. You got 3 of our 4 kids with one of their parents. We think it's Wim's dad, but we don't know. Neil, Wim, somebody's parent, and KB. Fern is not here. But this is them on speeders going through, probably in the first episode. I don't know where they're going, but that's the first image. This one is pretty damn cool. It's referencing the other image we'll get to in a second, but it looks visually awesome. You see a ship in the background there. Maybe that's their ship. We don't know. They seem to be stranded here. Maybe they crashed here. I don't know. Again, we know so little about this, but this might be the home of a Jedi temple. Moving on. We got another picture of our boy Neil in what looks to be some green, weird-looking species. I don't know. But we got a new look at our boy Neil right there. And then the 4th and most important, last but certainly not least, he was 12. I knew it, damn it. Last but certainly not least is this one. This is what got the people going. This is what got the fandom going. As we got Neil in a hood back here, which is awesome. Wait, is that a poncho? Chat, is that just a giant poncho on Neil? It might be. If Neil joins the poncho gang, oh my God, that would be so cool. Okay. But going back to this important stuff on the left side of the screen, this is Jude Law's character, Jod Nawood. And he's looking at some texts. Now, nobody that I've seen online has been able to decipher what these texts say. However, what we do know is they look very similar to the text that we see on the Night Sister Temple that is referring to the Zepho leader, Kujet, in Ahsoka. It also looks like ancient Sith writing that we've seen in Star Wars before as well, in the Bad Batch and in Mount Tantus, and I believe in the Clone Wars as well. So ancient Sith writing, possibly Night Sister writing, in the Skeleton Crew? What the hell's going on with this show, chat? What the hell is going on with this show? We know so little, but this one image blew our minds. You can see these mountains in the background. Same mountains as right here. So it looks like, I don't know where Fern is in all this, but these two are here. Maybe Fern's with them. I don't know, but they're up here. Either way, we know so little about this show, but a possible reference to either the Night Sisters or the Zepho or the Sith or any of them, honestly, is absolutely insane. Now, this is yet to be decoded, as far as I'm aware. Somebody has, tell me in the chat. Oh, and if you guys are not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go join it immediately. Okay. But let's talk about this. I got a full article about it. Let's do this. New Skeleton Crew image teases connection to possibly Ahsoka. So this is our image. This, no, all right, let's zoom in a little bit here. That's better. We got a new image to share with you from Lucasfilm's upcoming Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and it seems to have an interesting connection to Ahsoka. The image was shared by Empire Magazine and shows Jude Law's character, Jod Nawood, in a cave of some kind, with some kind of mysterious writing etched into the walls. The writing resembles the ruins and glyphs that have been seen repeatedly in Ahsoka. A connection between the shows would have been all that surprising. I'm sure that's supposed to say wouldn't have been all that surprising, but we'll keep going. A Skeleton Crew is set in the same era as Ahsoka and The Mandalorian, and these shows are supposed to be connected, okay? Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka, The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, they're all supposed to be connected, so it makes sense. But this is not what you think when you think connections. Sith writing, possibly Night Sister writing, referring to the Zepho? We'll get to it in a second. Okay. The series is also described as a galaxy version of classic Amblin coming-of-age adventures in the 80s. Skeleton Crew follows a journey of 4 kids who make a mysterious discovery in their seemingly safe home planet and get lost in the strange and dangerous galaxy, crossing paths with the likes of Jod Nawood, the mysterious character played by Jude Law. Finding their way home and meeting unlikely allies and enemies will be a greater adventure than they ever imagined. That's just sort of the synopsis that we got a long time ago. The series was initially pitched to Lucasfilm as Goonies in Star Wars and was created by John Watts, who created the Tom Holland trilogy of Spider-Man movies. In the series star, these are just the characters who play the kids, and Nick Frost will also star as the series droid SM-33. The episodes in the show will be directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, the Daniels, David Lowery, Jake Schreier, Lee Isaac Chung, and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are executive producers, the guys who did The Mandalorian. So it premieres on December 3rd, 2024, first 2 episodes, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So the question now is, what the bleepity bleep does this mean? What does this mean? Chat. Do you think this is Sith writing? Do you think it's Night Sister writing? Do you think it's Zepho writing? What do we think's going on in this image? Here's the thing. The Zepho writing in Ahsoka is a reference to an old Zepho leader named Kujet. And Kujet ruled over the planet of Dathomir. So it's a little bit of a history lesson. Let's put on our history caps for a second, okay? Okay. Kujet was a Zepho leader, the Zepho being an ancient species of Force users in the Star Wars galaxy. He was a sage, and the sages are pretty much the leaders of the Zepho who are Force users. They're almost like sage equals Jedi for Zepho. So this Zepho sage, Kujet, ruled over a lot of different planets, one of them being Dathomir. Are you with me? Dathomir, the home of the Night Sisters, and when we go to Peridia, which is in a completely different universe, we see the Night Sister Temple, or the Night Sister, I guess, temple, for lack of a better word. And on that temple, there is references to Kujet. in this same writing that we're seeing right here, in the same writing we see in Skeleton Crew, is the writing we see talking about Kujet in Ahsoka on Peridia in a completely different galaxy. In a completely different galaxy than where we see this writing in Skeleton Crew. Salty Texas Ranger, what's up? So, with that in mind, what the hell is going on here? We don't know anything about the Skeleton Crew show, except for the fact that it's 4 kids that get lost in the galaxy, and hopefully Jude Law's the guy who's going to save them. They're going to come in contact with pirates, blah, 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 blah. Where in that description is there ever anything of some sort of ancient Sith writing or ancient Sith Zepho or Night Sisters of any kind? What is this show going to be about? 38 days. 38 days until this show premieres, and we have not a clue what this show is going to be about. It's pretty wild. So please tell me in the chat, what the hell is this show going to be about? What do we think? What do we think, chat? John Groom says, it was Star Wars Meg who did a video on Baylan Skoll being in Skeleton Crew. I did not see that. I haven't seen anything about that, and I did not watch her video. No offense to Meg. Shout out Meg. Guys, I have to tell you a quick question. Do you think who will win between the Michigan State and Michigan football game tonight? I have no idea. I'm going to say Michigan State. I heard Michigan's pretty bad this year. Okay. Talk about Star Wars. Why don't you? Okay. Cal Kestis was 13 in Order 66. Damn it. Yeah, he'd be pretty old. He'd be in his 80s by the time of the Rey movie. That's for sure. We do have some Mando and Grogu movie news. I'll get to it in a little bit. Okay. UV Clip says, I'm telling you, the Zepho are going to play a massive role in this show. And this is how Cal Kestis can come into live action. The Zepho are returning. I will die on that rock. Okay, let's talk about it. When this show was first announced, very first announced, Skeleton Crew at Star Wars Celebration or wherever it was announced, whatever. The first thing I said, or one of the first things I said was Cal Kestis will be in this show. That's before we knew anything about it. I'm going to be completely honest. The more and more we learned about this show, the more and more I was like, is Cal Kestis going to be this? I still think he could be in this show. Now, more than ever, with the Zepho writing, or ancient Sith writing, referring to Zepho, in Ahsoka, and now that same writing appearing in the Skeleton Crew images, it does seem a lot more likely that Cal Kestis could be making his first ever live action appearance in Skeleton Crew. Now, I don't want to get your hopes up too high, but it is a connection nonetheless. And I'll be dying on that hill with you, UV Clips. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. Want me to translate it, Mike? Yes. If you would be so kind. And here's the thing, too. We just talked about the Dawn of the Jedi movie for like an hour. The Dawn of the Jedi is going to be 25,000 years ago. The Zepho, from what we know so little about them, because they're only in the Jedi games with Cal Kestis, they're supposed to be an ancient species that has been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. They could have been around at the Dawn of the Jedi. Force users who maybe even worked alongside or fought against the original Jedi. Now you're connecting the Mandoverse stories of Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew to 25,000 years before in the Dawn of the Jedi. A through line to all of this, which is pretty damn cool. Talk about connecting the stories. Everything will be connected from 25,000 years before to now, which is going to be pretty damn cool. Yeah. It says a long time ago in a galaxy, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. What are you talking about? Oh, the writing on the wall? Funny. It says a guy who loves Star Wars was here. That would be incredible, honestly. That would be awesome. That would be so cool. Yeah. looking at the picture, the planet could be Lothal. That's actually a great question. What planet is this? Lothal does have a Jedi Temple on it. We know that for a fact. Doesn't that Jedi Temple get destroyed? Chat, doesn't that Jedi Temple from Lothal get obliterated or destroyed or disappear because Ezra makes it disappear? And Lothal doesn't really have much snow on it from what I recall. This could be a new planet. Could definitely be a new planet. Actually, what is this? Hang on. I didn't notice this last time. Zoom in really far. That's not what I meant to do. So we saw this ship up here. What is this? Nope, not that. This. I don't know, but it could be important. Yeah, I don't know. This looks like something, but I don't know what it is. Could be an animal of some sorts. I don't know. But either way, this planet is going to be extremely important because it's clearly got the kids here, and then it's got Sith writing there, or the ancient Sith writing, or Zepho writing, whatever you want to call it. Maybe Hoth. Global warming on Hoth. I don't think it's going to be Hoth because, I mean, yes, there's snow down here, but up here in the mountain, doesn't look like it's, I mean, it's cold, clearly. Our boy Neil's got a coat on, but I don't know. I don't think it's Hoth. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, I always thought it would be connected to Ahsoka because it's in the same timeline. Well, yeah, but so is The Mandalorian in the Book of Boba Fett. And I don't know how many connections to those two shows there are going to be in this show. Indeed. What if the symbols are explaining how to use the Purgles to go through hyperspace? No. Again, I think that should be something that's very difficult to do. Ezra doing that at the end of Rebels was a very insane act of using the Force. And then Ahsoka being able to do it in Ahsoka, again, same thing. So it shouldn't be something easy to do to get to Peridia or ride the space whales. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, Mike, what if that is Zepho? We've only seen the Zepho area the Empire took over, not the rural Zepho countryside. But we know that it's a snowy and mountainous planet, right? Do we? Hang on. Zepho planet Jedi games. Let's see. You're right. Hang on. The terrain of the Zepho planet is pretty similar. If you just take a look here, like this is the Zepho planet. Whoa, that's very zoomed in. The terrain is pretty similar. It's got that sort of you want to wear a poncho type feel. It's very rocky and mountainy, and let's see. This one, you got some snow up on the caps over there. Interesting. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Imagine that this is where they're going. Damn. That one the most. I mean, you got the snowy mountains in the background. You got crashed ship here. You got a Zepho temple there. Huh. We might be onto something here. We might be onto something here. Zepho still alive in Skeleton Crew timeline? No, the Zepho seem to be an extinct species as far as we're aware. There's none in the Jedi games. You're just going through the ruins of their places. I'm assuming they're long gone, but what they created still remains. They were very, very smart and powerful with the Force. They're an intelligent species, to say the least. Yeah. That's interesting. I like that theory quite a bit. I might even write that theory down. Planet in Skeleton Crew is Zepho planet in Jedi games? Question mark? Okay, cool. That's pretty awesome. I like that theory quite a bit. I like it a lot. Looks like pieces of a crashed ship lying on the ground. Yeah, it does look like that too. Indeed. The temple on Lothal was destroyed, and it is destroyed? Yeah, I think it is destroyed, or at least it disappears, because Ezra gets rid of it. Yeah. They're on Exegol in the light of the day? I doubt it. I don't think there ever is daytime in Exegol. These kids are going to get captured way out in the galaxy. It's going to be fun. Middle of nowhere stuff. Yeah, well, they're going to get captured by pirates. That's the thing. There's the pirate influence on this show and all, but what is this? They're not captured by pirates here. Like, this is not... Maybe they're running from pirates. I don't know. Maybe Jude Law's like, I got to go... Because Jude Law is going to be this new type of Jedi. Maybe he's off trying to study the Zepho. I don't know. Maybe he's friends with Cal Kestis. Who knows? You know? Who knows? What's the next what if, Mike? Okay, so the what if that's coming out tomorrow is what if Qui-Gon didn't die in The Phantom Menace, Obi-Wan did die in The Phantom Menace, and Qui-Gon trains Anakin. So sort of I'm working on it right now. Hopefully I can get it to you guys by tomorrow. I'm very far behind this week, I must say. The script is pretty much finished. I haven't really started recording yet. But from what I got with the script, I got more than the Rey movie. No, I'm kidding. The whole Dooku aspect of it is really interesting. Because Dooku was Qui-Gon's former master. And a lot of the reason for Dooku's fall is because of Qui-Gon's death. So it'll be pretty interesting. Yeah. But that's the what if for tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. UV Clip says, yeah, they are for what we know, long gone. Yeah, that's at least what we think, for sure. The third character in that the third character in that is an R. Can't work out what the rest of them are. Well, keep working on it. Are you going live tomorrow? No. Oh, the what if? Yes. What if will be tomorrow, yeah. Hopefully. John Groom says, cool. Can I get a shout out for that too? LOL. I guess. Why? Did you come up with that one? I don't recall. The Zillo Beast? Zillo Beast is still on that planet. We're definitely going back to... They're definitely going back to... what's the planet that Mount Tantus is on? Wayland. They're definitely going back to Wayland at some point because they left Mount Tantus intact. Yeah. For sure. So maybe Thrawn will be going there. It spells out Morgoth. Oh, yeah. I doubt it. Wow. By the way, this poll has been up this whole stream right now. That's insane. That's absolutely wild. 82% of you say yes, you think the Rey movie will be delayed. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. The only way it's delayed is if the Dawn of the Jedi takes its place. Yeah. That's literally the only way. But we'll have to see. The math does not math. No, math is not mathing. This is the Wayland. Oh my God. You guys are crazy. Okay. I think I'm going to get on out of here. I got to get to work on that what if. That's for damn sure. So I got a long night ahead of me. I'm going to try and get it out to you guys as soon as possible, maybe 1 or 2 p.m. tomorrow if I can. If not, I'll let you guys know in the Discord if there will be a delay or anything like that. I'm hoping to get it out as soon as possible at 1 p.m., if not 2 p.m., if not 3 p.m., if not 4 p.m., but I'm really hoping for 1 p.m. So we'll see. I appreciate you guys. Huge shout outs to Darth Plagueis Lives, Jordan Rennie, Lee, Tony, Patrick, and Sirius Star Wars, and I already said Lee, sorry. And Lee, I appreciate you guys very, very much for the super chats. It's very, very generous, very, very nice. I appreciate it. Yeah, we are on the road to 100K. And of course, at 100, actually, wait, we didn't even bring it out this stream. My cup never ran out of water. Can I get some good cups full of orders in the chat, please? Bumpa. Of course, at 100K, I'll be dumping this entire cup of water on my head. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. We're getting closer and closer every single day. We're getting close to 97K. I'm hoping to be at 100K by the Skeleton Crew, which would be fan-freaking-tastic. And I appreciate you guys so much more than you'll ever know. Okay. And until then, may the Force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you guys so much more than you will ever know. Watch out for that What If tomorrow. Let's boost that thing out because this is going to be a good one. Qui-Gon Jinn training Anakin Skywalker. The duel of the fates. The real fate of the galaxy lies in his hands. Okay. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody.